Galen Strawson is an interesting person to add to the debate regarding free will and determinism here. He is not, strictly speaking, a determinist, as he does not offer us an argument in support of determinism. However, he does offer us a challenge to both libertarianism and soft determinism that has been claimed to be terminally damaging to both. Strawsons' approach in Freedom and Belief is to claim that free will or liberty is impossible regardless of whether or not determinism is true. The focus of Strawson's argument is upon personal character. Strawson agrees with other theorists that if our actions are caused entirely, then clearly we must have no free will. He also adds that alternatively, if our actions are random chance, then we may not be blamed, because this does not indicate freedom of deliberate choice either. A.J. Ayer has previously pointed this out in his philosophical essays. However, Strawson offers us a view that is known as pessimism. He states that, when you act, you do so in the situation you are in because of the way you are. To be ultimately responsible for what you do, you must be responsible for the way you are in all respects, most notably the mental ones. You cannot be ultimately responsible for the way you are in any respect at all, so you cannot be morally responsible for what you do. This is because to be ultimately responsible for who you are, you would have to have intentionally brought it about that you are the way you are. This is impossible. For example, if you intentionally bring about how you are mentally, and thus you are morally responsible, you must have already had a certain mental nature to bring about that state intentionally. If you didn't, then you couldn't be held responsible for bringing it about. To bring this about, you would have had to exist prior to yourself and would set off an infinite regress. So to be considered free in any way, something logically impossible has to be true. Strawson offers us an example. Imagine that you set off to the cake shop with your last £10 note to buy the last cake in the shop just before the shop shut for a national holiday. The cake you want costs exactly £10. Outside the shop is a man with a collection tin for Oxfam. You feel free and decide what to do, and you are aware of deliberating. Yet you are not free to choose. This is because it is your personal characteristics that make you the person you are that enable you to give away the money or spend it in the cake shop. You are not constrained by anything physical, it is true. However, you are constrained by your character, and that is not something that you can control. You have no responsibility for the character that has been formed, and whilst the compassionate, selfless person might sacrifice their cake for the sake of helping others, they are not responsible for their compassion or selflessness. Whatever you do because of who you are. This is something that you are not free to choose. To be truly morally responsible for one's actions, one would have to be truly responsible for the way one is. One would have to be causa sui, the cause of oneself, at least in certain crucial mental respects. This quality cannot belong to finite beings, even if it can belong to God. But nothing can logically be causa sui, so nothing can truly be morally responsible. Arguments that claim indeterminism, the falsity of determinism, give rise to unpredictability, not moral responsibility. This is because all we can then have is a kind of luck, since we clearly don't have free will according to this argument. If an argument were to prove determinism false, and according to Strawson no argument can since it's unfalsifiable, then we would be in no more morally responsible position than we were before.